explain the benefits of using a mobile solution in your facility. And sure, we do provide mobile software, but it's really about using anything is better than nothing. So we think you need to focus on mobile first because mobility shouldn't be an afterthought. The advantages of using a mobile solution should be clear as we start to go through this. Today, in a lot of engineering shops and a lot of operation shops, you'll see hundreds of post-it notes or clipboards. Lots of data that is tracked this way and also easily lost this way. Well, what's even worse is after the work is done, it's frequently done on a check sheet or some other sort of piece of paper that has to be filed or kept or worse, transcribed into another software product, and there's a chance for human error. What we should focus on is figuring out a way to get the work done on a handheld so the data can be captured in real time, one time, and it be as accurate as possible. So when I say 90% of corporate memory exists on paper, you're probably thinking I mean documents and contracts, but I also mean process. What we talked about earlier, those sheets of paper that you're filling out while you're doing your work, those sticky notes, those clipboards, all of that information is the heart and soul of your company. The worst thing that happens today is the fact that senior engineers are retiring faster than engineers are being ramped up. And if paper is the way that you're tracking this information, you're probably not having a good knowledge transfer. So one of the things that we like to look at is how can we take your current process, mobilize it, put it on a handheld, and make sure that every engineer, whether it's the most junior or the most senior, is doing the work the exact same way. Doing this helps enable your organization to bring people on board faster and cheaper, but it also means that all the information is being tracked and accurate and the same regardless of who's doing the work. This extends to every process, including lockout tagout. By show of hands, who actually has a log which shows your lockout tagout compliance for all the work that's being done? We have one person, congratulations. It's very, very hard to do lockout tagout compliance tracking. I'm sure many people do it, but it's as simple on a handheld device as saying, did you complete the lockout tagout instructions before they do work? It adds 1 to 2 seconds to a work order, and yet it guarantees that you have compliance within your organization. It's very, very simple, very, very hard to do if you're doing it on paper. Now, I'm not saying we have a problem in our discipline, but it is very easy to pencil wet paperwork. And what you can do with a mobile device is make it harder to pencil wet than to actually do the work. And so you can do this with scanning in and scanning out. Proof of presence. I was at this piece of machinery. I put the information in. I'm saying I'm going to be here. And then you can further go to that lockout tag. I agree that I've done this procedure. All of this type of data collection happens on site exactly the work is being done, and it's tracked in real time, and it can't be more accurate than if you're capturing it this way. Doing this on paper opens up liability that you can remove very, very easily with a mobile device. So when I say web versus native, does everyone know what I'm talking about? So one of the things you'll hear a lot of vendors, and I'm not going to name any names, but some of them may be here, they say they have a mobile solution. And what that really is, it's a web-based solution. Web-based solutions are not as good as native solutions. Web-based means I'm doing this on Safari, Chrome, whatever device you're using, whatever the browser is. Well, that means you're not tapping into the power of the device. You're probably not taking photos. You're probably not doing signature capture, GPS, or any of the powerful features that phones offer. But what's worse, it's the simplest feature. If you don't have internet connection, a web-based solution doesn't work. So if you're in a boiler room, and the boiler room doesn't have a good Wi-Fi connection, you can't do your work with a web-based solution. When you start to evaluate what type of solution you should look at, you should absolutely look for native applications. iOS or Android are obviously the kings today. If the solution that you're looking at supports both of those, they're going to accommodate virtually all of the use cases you can imagine. All of the work can be synced at the beginning of the day, the work can be done, and the next time you hit Wi-Fi, everything can sync off. You can be in Wi-Fi all day, or you can be in Wi-Fi part of the day, and you'll still be able to get your work done. So we've been doing this a long time. That furthest one over on the top, those are enterprise devices. And when I say enterprise, I mean really expensive. We used to sell a lot of these. The cheapest one was about $800. The most expensive one was about $5,000. The reality is today, the bottom line, these are consumer cell phones. You can buy a consumer cell phone, or better yet, an iPod Touch for $180. You can put a case on it for $30, which makes it very rugged. Maybe not as good as the top ones. They were good for their day, but for $210, $220, you can outfit an engineer. It no longer costs $3,000 to get the type of benefits we're talking about. It costs you a couple $100. We really try to focus on this and suggest that when you look at mobile solutions, you look at consumer grade devices, you look at a native application, and you start to think about how can I take my processes and build them into a mobile solution so that I don't have to track things on paper, and that if I get audited, all my reports are a push of a button and I know they're all accurate. This is a huge liability savings, but it's also a massive reduction in effort. You're going to save time on finding paper, you're going to save time on documenting it, you're going to save time all over the place. Not to mention the actual work on a handheld device is very easy to do, and it's done in real time. So there's no second effort. There's no, hey, I did this, let me go back to paper and write down everything I did. It's being done in real time. So from that perspective, I highly recommend you look at how you can mobilize your process and how you could use a native application on the iOS or Android platforms. So from that perspective, now's a good time to talk about this. We do obviously have a booth here. If you drop off a card, you'll get a chance to win an iPad, and I'm ready for questions. So mobile devices are typically compliant for most government regulations. We have like a absolutely.